Every day, thousands of videos are uploaded to the internet. What drives some people to turn the camera on themselves and reveal so much about their lives? I decided to find out. Welcome to Vlog This.
My name's Josh. I'm the founder of EngVid.com. It's a website for people learning English, and we do free English video lessons. As soon as I got the net in my house, I guess in 94 or 95, I was 14, 15. I learned out of some magazine how to make a basic website, and I started playing with making websites, but just making websites for things I like books I liked and movies and stuff. I knew video was taking off on the net. And looked like it would be the next kind of big thing on the net. There wasn't really anything commercial at all on YouTube yet. There wasn't advertising or anything, so it was just to build a website and use those videos to teach English. And the reason I chose English was my mother is an English teacher.
My name is Rebecca, and I'm an ESL teacher here at EngVid. Josh, the creator of EngVid, happens to be one of my two amazing sons. So a few years ago, Josh, who was really into computers and the internet, came to talk to me about an idea that he had for a website in which we'd have recorded English training videos. And I had a background in teaching ESL for the past about 20 years at that point, and he was into the computer aspect. So we decided to work together on this project.
The first teacher, who was actually my mom, we just did a test. We did 3 videos, and it was just using a camera that I had in my pocket, and I had no tripod even or anything. We just put it on a stack of books, and she planned the lessons. That part was solid, but technically it probably wasn't as good as it could have been.
I recorded the first 3 videos, and we put them out there on YouTube, and we went from there.
Hi, my name is Rebecca. In this video, we're going to be focusing on the correct pronunciation of past tense regular verbs. And today I'm going to be speaking to you about how to structure your TOEFL essay easily and quickly. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about grammar.
So we did 3 lessons, and we just left them there for a few months, for about, I think, 7 or 8 months. And they got a lot of views, a lot of positive comments. People really liked it. So then we decided to continue. So then I hired another person, James.
Hi, I'm James, and I teach at EngVid. Some of you know me as James ESL. Today I'd like to talk about greetings. Hi equals hello. So how you doing? How you doing is another way of saying hello. But it also... And I like the idea mostly because he said we'll be able to help people for free who would not get the opportunity to see it. So there's this idea of, little village, 1 computer, 7 students sitting around the computer, all studying, and we'd be helping them.
So I brought him on board, and then we just started recording lessons regularly and posting them.
I always thought it would be 7 kids in some country, only those 7 watching. And then one day we saw numbers going up and we were like, those kids have friends.
I'm Alex, and I'm an English teacher for EngVid.com. Hey guys, I'm Alex. Thanks for clicking, and welcome to this beginner lesson on the verb to be. I started by finding a job ad on Craigslist. Josh had put something up. I had been teaching for a while already. I had already been familiar with doing some online teaching with kids in China over kind of like a Skype program. And yeah, I was interested. Came in, talked to him. He asked me if I would be comfortable with my face being in front of 50,000, 100,000 people potentially. At that point, I didn't know how successful the site would be. But now I do have some videos with 50,000, 100,000 views, and your brain doesn't even comprehend what that means.
We expand slowly, actually slower than I thought we would in terms of teachers. We just film more content with the teachers we have, because I found that people really get attached to certain teachers, and I try out a lot of people who just, maybe they're really, really good English teachers, but they're not comfortable on camera, or on camera they change somehow and they're not themselves anymore.
Hi, my name is Ronnie, and I am one of the instructors on EngVid. This evening, I'm going to teach you one super fantastic trick so you can finally learn how to say R in English 100% all the time. This is not an infomercial, this is free stuff. I was unemployed after I'd been touring around Europe. I came back to Toronto and I saw an ad on Craigslist that wanted teachers to teach ESL. So I said, oh, pick me. So I had an interview and I was chosen to be a teacher. Scary.
I'm Adam. I'm a teacher at EngVid.com and I teach all levels of English. Today's lesson is about the verb seem, okay? And this was requested by Sheila from Indonesia on our Facebook page. If you want to make any requests for lessons, please ask. Actually, I knew Rebecca. We worked together before and she asked me if I'd be interested in doing video lessons and she recommended me to Josh and that's how I got into it, yeah.
Hi, my name is Rebecca, and in today's lesson, I'll show you how knowing English well can help you save your hard-earned money.
As an ESL trainer, and especially as an EngVid teacher, anytime I'm anywhere, I'm thinking in terms of language. Whether I'm on a plane, or whether I'm checking into a hotel, or whether I'm in a bank, I'm always listening to the language around me and thinking, how would a non-English speaker cope with this situation?
I had traveled to India in 2006. I was backpacking around India, and then it was on that trip that I saw how much difference it makes to people's lives. Just knowing a little bit of English or improving their English a little bit would really like be the difference between staying in their village or being able to get a job at, let's say, a hotel or in some sort of service industry, or maybe at a call center or something, and that would be a huge, huge difference to their lives.
I immigrated to Canada with my family in the 80s when I was 7 years old. So obviously I couldn't speak English when I came here, and I still have a vivid memory of my very first day of school in Canada. I cried, literally, because we were going around a circle. Everyone was introducing themselves on the very first day, you know, speaking English and everything, and it got to me, and I had no idea what was going on. This was in kindergarten, and I basically cried, and I remember they just made me paint, like they let me paint for the rest of the day. So that experience still sticks in my mind as the difficulty of not being able to make yourself understood.
And here's the surprising thing. Some of these people are like Canadians and Americans, first language English, and they're saying they watched it and then they learned it and they didn't learn it in their class. And I remember one kid saying he won some competition or got some kind of award. And that's when I started going, okay.
What's happening is that more people are getting to know about us, which we're very grateful for. And as a result, more organizations and schools and orphanages and all kinds of places are contacting us and asking if they can use our materials in some way. And we are very honored that that's happening.
Or sometimes we've heard, like in Afghanistan, that they just play our videos in front of the class and then the teacher discusses it with the class. So it's sort of like a 10 minutes at the beginning of the class, and then the rest of the class is the teacher talking about that video. So it acts kind of like a textbook in that way. So, and I guess that the students then are a bit more engaged than they would be with the textbook, because it's a character on camera and stuff like that on screen that they find more engaging.
So whether it's a school or whether it's a university or that has a lifelong learning program or anyone else, they have the ability for free to embed our videos and have that knowledge available to all of their students. And why wouldn't you?
Hello there. Today I'm going to teach you some more pronunciation about word endings. Sometimes, maybe, you make mistakes when you speak English. For example, you say the word, bad word, fuck, instead of fax. So, you want to send a fax to someone, you know the word is definitely F-A-X, fax, but you say fuck. How embarrassing. Or funny, depending on how you're looking at things. So, today I'm going to teach you the differences between these three word endings.
Josh gives us complete liberty as far as the academic side of it goes. So we design all the lessons and so on.
I want the teachers to teach what they're good at and what they like teaching and what they know they're good at teaching. So I completely let the teachers come up with the lesson ideas and the lesson plans, what they're actually going to do.
Hey, Mr. E, you smell something? Ooh, clean yourself. All right, today's lesson is cleaning yourself, okay? I think each of us has a strength and we play to it. I'm more of an understanding guy. I know there are rules in the world, but if you just stick by the rules, you don't really get, nothing can really get done. Sometimes you find exceptions, you work with it.
Hey guys, I'm Alex. Thanks for clicking and welcome to this lesson on talking about getting excited. So this is a quick slang lesson and we're going to learn 2 words to talk about getting excited. To be a teacher, you have to have a certain type of personality. You have to be approachable, you have to be sociable, you have to be friendly, but you have to get that warmth across through a screen, through a laptop screen or a computer screen as well.
I definitely didn't want to make it like anything like the VHS stuff that they would play for us in school sometimes in the 80s when I was in school. They were these really stodgy productions. At the same time, I didn't want it to be completely amateurish. Like I want the teachers to be prepared.
I'd like to please give everyone a warning about this video. This video is very rude. If you are easily offended by rudeness or anything like that, please do not watch this video. Thank you. All right, welcome to the slang video.
A lot of the audience is adults, almost all adults, and so we don't try to talk down to them. That's something I just find really, it irritates me about a lot of educational stuff I see, that just because somebody doesn't know your language, that you have to talk to them like they're 8 years old, or dumb down your subject matter or anything like that. So I try to make sure the teachers just talk to them like normal people that happen not to speak English.
I've been dreaming about this video since day 1, where someone said, hey, would you like to do videos on the internet? And I said, can I say cock on the internet? And it didn't go over too well, but now it's gone over so well, I even wrote the word cock on the board. So today's lesson, one of the funnest ones, is slang, rude body parts. In like a textbook, which I don't really like at all, we're never taught bad words, slang words, and it's really something that I've grown up with, and my own sick sense of humor has taught me that this is funny. And when I watch movies, they use all these bad words and people don't understand it, and it has to be taught. It's rude. Guess what? Life is rude. You have to learn it, you know? You're never gonna be a native speaker or speak English well unless you learn all the bad, dirty words, you know? That's my favorite.
Did you always want to be a teacher?
No. I'll get that on camera. No, no, no. Hated teachers, hated school. I guess the first person to ever really get me teaching would be my young brother Nicholas, because we have 12 years difference, and there was a part in time where he didn't like school. And I loved reading, and I liked what I was doing in school. It was university, so he was probably grade 6, so I took a small summer curriculum where I took books from 1 year beneath his grade up to his grade up to first year university, and I would make him read the book, and then we'd do a test every week, and if he got it, he'd get $10, so it was 10 weeks, $100 if he passed 80% every test. And he read the Symposium by Plato by the end of the summer. And my brother's a lawyer now.
My mom tells me that as a little kid I used to grab any uncle who was nearby and sit him down and pretend to be a teacher, and he would be a student or she would be a student. So I must have had something in me.
I knew that I wanted to be in a classroom since my early 20s, since I started university, college. I always knew that I wanted to continue being in a classroom environment, so being a teacher. When I finished my MA, the cruel hammer of reality hit me over the head, and basically it was very difficult to find a job in like a college atmosphere or a university setting, which is what I wanted to do. So I did actually work in call centers for about a year, which was not a fun experience.
My big dream in life is to be a writer. Like I want to write novels, and I figured I had to go traveling a little bit and see what life's all about. So I just wanted to travel, and one day I saw an ad in the paper. I was in Toronto, and I saw an ad in the paper asking, do you want to go live in Japan and teach English? And I thought, yeah, why not? So I applied, they trained me, and I went to Japan and started teaching English.
I always wanted to be a VJ on Much Music or MTV, I was a radio DJ for 5 years, and I took radio broadcasting. My teacher told me that I would never be a radio DJ because I thought outside of the box.
When I was 8 or 9 years old, I was like really scared because I didn't have anything I wanted to do, and I thought that was going to be a problem. And I was. I mean, I felt nervous about that till I was about 25.
A guy named David Mott, who was my teacher, had to get my black belt, and in his school, everyone had to teach before they get their black belt. So he made me teach, but he made me teach the children's class. So, you know, no body coordination and having to set, you know, kind of corral them versus teaching them. That was the first lesson of classroom management. No school can prepare you for that. It's like, okay, 5-year-olds to kick and punch without hitting each other. That's your first lesson.
And I'd always been interested in ESL. I think it was the romantic aspect of traveling overseas and seeing different cultures and everything like that. Something I never got to do anyway, but I started out by volunteering, tutoring at a library. I liked that, and I said, okay, I think I can do this. So then I got certified, and here we are.
I had a degree in English already. I had the opportunity to go to Japan, teach English. Woohoo! I worked in a bar, so I was able to balance my social need to hang out with people and drink and kind of the educational part of it.
Google AdSense came up, which was a way to build a website and earn a living from it. But you had to build it and grow it till it got to a certain point, till you could get that income. And what that AdSense program did is it meant you could make, if your audience was small, you'd make $5, but that was okay, you were making something. So that let me feel that I could spend time on it. I could invest time in building something, because maybe right now it's just paying my phone bill, but maybe down the road I'll be able to make a living and make this my career and devote my time to it. And eventually that happened. A few years after I started EngVid, I was able to quit my job and just work full time on that. But for the first few years, I was managing a comic shop.
I wanted to be a teacher when I was 8 years old, but as I grew up, I never wanted to be a teacher because my father was a teacher and I saw the stress that he went through. But he was in like the education system, which is completely different from what I do. So never wanted to be a teacher. Woke up one day and thought, oh my God, I'm a teacher. How did that happen? But I love my job. So I guess it's really rewarding. It's a great time.
We get hundreds of positive comments a day, people thanking us and stuff. And it's mostly just getting a better job or being able to move to another country. Like, we hear that every single day from dozens of people that say those exact things.
Well, I had a wonderful Brazilian doctor who came to me, and she had been trying to get certification here in Canada, as a matter of fact. And she had unfortunately had great difficulty with the TOEFL exam and had almost not got the required marks for about, I think, 8 times that she had tried it. So finally she came to me and she said, this is the situation, this is where I get nervous. And we worked together for a few months, and I was very happy to see that she went on and finally got the certification she needed.
Taking a cab in Toronto, I was driving, driver's looking straight ahead, he asked me something. I started talking about traffic, and he said, I know you. I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, I know you. You're a teacher. And I went, yes, I teach. He said, you teach EngVid. You help me with English. You help me with speaking. And then he started suggesting a lesson. And it was really funny because I guess it was a Hollywood moment, and it taught me something I had never understood about Hollywood. Because I got out and he said, I went to pay. He said, no, it's for free. And I went, no, here's your money. And I'm like, look, dude, we both work. You need this money. He goes, no, for free.
I try to answer comments under my videos as often as possible. Also, I have a Facebook page where they can contact me. So I have gotten personal thank yous and just gratitude, mostly gratitude, I would say, from students for helping them out. And if somebody has like a legitimate grammar question that they contact me with through Facebook, I'll do my best to answer it in due time. Not always possible, because sometimes you just get floods and floods of things. And
it's very international. I get comments from people in Russia and Saudi Arabia and Bangladesh and Canada, everywhere. Yeah.
Any interest usually comments from anywhere?
So here and there, like yeah, students tell us, "Oh, I love you, I want to marry you," stuff like that. But that's not related to English, so I don't really deal with those ones. But the English questions are pretty straightforward. They're pretty good. So, yeah.
There are a lot of crazy people out there because this is just an English lesson and it's a teacher in front of a whiteboard, but we get a lot of obscene comments like every day about the teachers, and then a lot of marriage proposals from certain parts of the world.
Sometimes I'll be minding my own business, walking down the street, and people will, Ronnie! Oh, hi. So it catches me off guard because I'm in my own little brain walking down the street, and I will see people and they will know me and I won't know who they are, and then I figure out who they are. So if you see me, come say hi, I love it.
Teaching English is sort of like, it's given me more joy than I thought it would. Every day I laugh, I have a belly laugh. And every other job I've had, I never had that where I can say I laugh 3 times a day where I want to pee myself. I never want to see that stop.
From a classroom of 12 people, we've reached, in my case on YouTube, I think something like 12 million. So from 12 to 12 million, and that's just myself. We have, I mean, all of the teachers are doing the same thing. That's amazing. And the most amazing part of that is the fact that people are choosing to use the internet in that way, to use YouTube in that way, not only for entertainment, which we all do.
Education should not be a privilege. It should be something that, it doesn't matter if you have a lot of money or no money. Everyone should have access to do what they want to do. Follow your dream. If you want to learn English, learn English. And you don't have to have money to do it.
I hear a lot of people complaining about some lack of opportunity they had, and like, oh, I would have gone to university if I had money and whatever, but like so much of this stuff is available now for free that I think a lot of the excuses have been removed. Like I don't want to hear those excuses from most people. Obviously there are people in some parts of the world and people with different circumstances that maybe have some limitation and can't do it. But for most people now it's there, and like the only reason you haven't done it is because you wanted to spend time watching something silly.
For more information, go to
EngVid.com.
Come!
Yeah!